What up, everybody? Welcome back to our channel. I almost said Red Bull Coffee and Crime. Morbid Injustice. It's your girl, Red Bull. We have coffee and we have Norman, the Norman Nick Show. How are you
Hi
guys doing?
guys.
Hanging in there, you already know.
Yes. Today we are going to be covering a case. Some of you might have heard of, some of you might not have, but let's get into it. Ryan Larsen. He was born on June 6, 2009, to a loving family. His mother and two older sisters. His father was never in the picture. Ryan is described to be a happy boy, helping others. What was that noise? Oh. He enjoyed helping others. His sister said that he was very funny and a little bit awkward, but that is what made him who he is. He loved to help the janitor at school. So whenever he got good grades, the teachers would let him. Ryan also had medical conditions, which were Tourette's syndrome, epilepsy, and autism, that often caused him to run away from home and hide for short periods of time. It got to a point where they would find him, but it kept happening. And then when the police found him, they finally they gave him a nickname because it happened so much, and it was just his nickname was hide and seek. So um after a while, since that happened so many times, so much, he was enrolled in this thing called Project Lifesaver. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that, but it's a little GPS wristband type of thing. And so they put that on him so they could keep, track of him. He would often take it off. He would cut it off. So then his mom just gave up on it. And yeah, I'm like, yeah,
So,
Garnett.
on the morning of May 17th, 2021,
Did he walk away from the school?
Where'd she go? Where'd she go?
I don't know. She just cut herself off.
Okay, so yeah, on Garnett.
I'm here. Just give me a second. I'm having
Oh.
technical difficulties. Let me go grab my notes. I thought I could read it off of my phone.
I have it right here.
Okay, you want to read it then?
On May 17th, 2021, Ryan was in school. He got frustrated with a math question. He was sent into another room with a supervisor to calm him down. However, the supervisor had to leave and the replacement was late. So between 11:55 a.m. and 12:05 p.m., Ryan was unsupervised. He was seen leaving the school at 12:27 p.m. and last seen at his apartment complex by a neighbor around 1:54 p.m. After the school noticed that Ryan was missing, they called 911 and the police showed up within 5 minutes. And they also did when they did the report, they classified it as endangered and missing. He was considered high functioning, but still very nonverbal towards strangers. So that's what they, trying to go off my notes, not her notes. So I'm over here like,
All right, so I can pick up now if you want me to.
Yeah.
Okay. So the police searched around the school and his home, which was only 2 blocks away at Southfield Apartments. The search came up with nothing. Ryan didn't have a key to his apartment, so he hadn't returned there. Police checked all the areas he had been found before with still nothing. Over a month later, Ryan's polka dot umbrella was found near a dumpster behind the apartments. There was no evidence that Ryan had been in the dumpster. They did DNA testing and stuff on the dumpster and found no evidence that he'd been there.
How the fuck do you
Invest-
how do you DNA test a dumpster? You know how much fucking bacteria and cleaning solutions that
well,
is just an oxymoron in itself. Sorry, I just had it.
The umbrella was found.
investigate.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll discuss all of this because I have a lot of problems with most of this. Investigators pulled as much surveillance video from nearby businesses, but nothing came from that footage either. There was a video of a person at the La Vista Kino, but the FBI couldn't clean the footage up enough to say that it was Ryan. There was also a sighting of Ryan at the La Vista Library on May 18th, but I couldn't find confirmation other than in that article that happened, or that what kind of sighting it was. Go ahead and you can take the end of it then.
On the year anniversary of Ryan going missing, police used sonar equipment and underwater drone to search Walnut Creek Lake. Cadaver dogs alerted police to a section of the lake last year, but no results were found. After so much time, police are now open to the idea that foul play might have been involved in Ryan's disappearance. When he went missing, you guys, he he was last seen wearing a black and gray hooded sweatshirt with orange lining in the hood. He also wore an Old Navy shirt, blue jeans, and black New Balance sneakers. He was carrying and he had brown hair, hazel eyes, and he only sometimes wore his glasses. He was very tall for his age. He was 5'8" and he weighed 128 pounds. So if you guys, think you see him or just anything, make sure that you call 911 or you can,
Don't confront him. Don't go up to
yeah,
him, but call 911 or the La Vista Police Department.
yeah. Even though his family, they have sought to have Ryan declared legally dead, but they still hope that he will be found and returned home safely. Um, so the police, they're still taking tips, they're still following up on things, and they want you to call 911 and not confront him, or the La Vista Police Department at 402-331-1582. And that's it. We just wanted to kind of go over just a little bit of it. We're going to deep dive. We've talked to the family very little. We still have to go over a lot more. So,
Okay, I'm chomping at the bit because the whole timing of this throws me off. So I want to start there. I know Norman's got something he's wanting to say too, but how is it that he is left alone from 11:55 to 12:05? Now that's 10 minutes, but he's not seen leaving the school till 12:27. And the school does not call the police until they notice him missing. So did they notice him missing at 12:05, call the police, and then he slipped out from underneath of all that activity? Or did they not call until later? Like when was that 911 call made? I need to know.
that's what we're going to find out because I want to know too.
Like that's
This is
driving
only
me
the
nuts.
first
I need to know.
okay. I don't know. I don't even know how as a person that's supposed to watch a child, you leave the classroom,
Yeah, I
and
don't know why he wasn't taken with that teacher. I don't know.
especially he's gone missing before, and in school, and that reminds me of
Yes.
Kyron. Kyron's, left the class before, and they had to look for him. Um, this case is
Norman, what are you chewing on?
I'm just kind of frustrated on how similar this is to the Kyron Horman case. You know what I mean about school
Yeah.
neglecting to watch their own. I mean, the schools are divided into classrooms, and each classroom is usually held by one or two teachers. And if that one or two teachers, just like a daycare, can't keep track of their troop or their flock, what are we doing? Why are we funding
Right. How is
taxpaying?
this? Yep. How is the
Why,
system that broken?
not only that, it is 2000. This is 2020s. Where the fuck are the cameras at?
Right.
Yeah.
Not only that, and my other question is why are you treating this kid like a criminal and putting a what is it, ankle monitor on him or whatever to keep track of him? There are other ways to be more subtle about it. I mean, there's air tags. You can give him a phone that has a parental being on it. You know what I mean? Anything.
They put
But
a it's a little like wrist thing,
like a
that
Fitbit, like a
But
Fitbit.
yeah, I get
it's
what
similar.
Norman's saying, though. There are 100 other ways that you could do it. I mean, but hindsight is 2020, and
Absolutely.
a parent can only do what we take advice from others, and sometimes when somebody offers us a solution, like this program stepped in and said, "Hey, look, we're going to offer this,"
Yeah.
and you take that, and then when it doesn't work out, it's a lot when you have I have a child that her IEP was set up sort of like Ryan's was, where
Mhm.
when she would get over anxious, they would remove her from the classroom and she would be in a classroom with herself and another teacher. Now, they never left her alone ever, because in her fit she might tear up the whole damn room.
Yeah.
But um it's a similar situation, so I see how it happened. I
Mhm.
just don't understand, like, the 12:05 clear to 12:27 when he's seen leaving the school. At what point did we say he's missing?
Maybe maybe it was a child and that teacher never went back to the class. Maybe they never went back to the class till later, and maybe a child saw them leaving.
I don't know. These are questions that are nipping at my brain. So
Well, my whole thing is that if you already know and the school is already designed to handle children of mental disorders, autism, or
Mhm.
ADHD or whatever, where are the fences at? Where is truancy at? Where are the checkpoints? Any other regular high school in any other, city, or at least suburban city is going to have at least metal detectors you can walk through if you're in the city. I mean, where is the security in this place? Or is this place so rural and such a good old boy town that they feel like they can leave their doors unlocked and their children are born, blessed,
well,
smart?
that's where I live. Our schools have no, I mean, we do have cameras now, but my elementary school is all glass windows. Like,
I
every time I
really
go to pick my grandson up, my stomach turns.
I thought they had cameras everywhere now. Like, literally, I mean, that should be a thing. That should be a law. You have to have cameras.
I mean, even a ring camera on the front of the school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That way people can see who's coming in. I mean, holy shit.
Something. There's a lot to this case, you guys. That's why we kind of we'll probably just redo the next one. I had so much going on this morning, but
I
we're
think
gonna
this is a good summary of the case. I think we've
yeah,
done well.
yeah. But I just like
We just got to wait for the deep dive. I know there's so many questions I
Yes.
have, and we got to wait to talk to the family. But yeah,
yeah.
I mean, the bad taste in my mouth is that if the umbrella ended up in the apartment complex, obviously the boy went home.
But
And the reason I'm going to this level is because I remember a story from when I was in right before first grade. I must have been kindergarten, and we were in Lompoc, California. My mom and dad, biological dad, had just got divorced. I think I was like 5 years old. And my mom said that there was an incident, and I vaguely remember there was an incident that happened at school. And I remember it was like one of our first days. And I was kind of like the odd kid. And I saw one of the other kids screw over another female student at lunchtime and basically stole her. He tried to trade her. I'm going off a memory of a 5-year old. But when I look back at it, I remember there being an incident where the kid try to trade food with another girl, and the girl didn't want to do it. He bullied her into it, and she just accepted it. And I was like, that's wrong. So I made a deal about it, and the teacher basically looked at me like I was the bad guy because I was the third party, and I didn't. I at that time I couldn't rationalize. I just saw injustice.
Right.
So I left the school. I literally got up and was like, "Fuck this! I'm going home." And the teacher followed me all the way around the canal. And she said I was hiding behind poles, trying to stand up by, trying to stand, you know what I mean, trying to hide. And finally, I made it to the apartment complex and made it to the house, and my mom let me in. And then I remember the teacher coming to the door, and my mom and her having like a discussion for like a half hour. And I'm outside catching moths on a bush because I was into nature and stuff. So I'm out there trying to catch moths on the bush while, waiting for this lady to
Right.
leave. And then my mom explains to me, like, Norm, you can't be leaving the school if you're upset, da da da. There's other ways that, you know what I mean? But I remember that it only happened one time, but we didn't have, and this was in the early 80s. So we didn't have cameras and stuff back then
Right.
off of
There was
default because
nothing.
of technology. But the teachers cared enough to be like, look, one of my students is left campus. I need somebody to watch my class so I can go get my student.
That's
That's
crazy.
Right.
that's integrity.
I mean, and look,
Let's
even
talk.
though it was
And
by,
I'm not even autistic, and I don't even have I wasn't, had a mental disorder that I'm aware of. But even back then, I wasn't diagnosed with anything. I was just a regular kid.
I've got
and
a
I,
question about this.
oh, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, you go first because you're probably more on topic right here.
Well, no, I want to talk about, okay, yeah, it was close to home, but he did not, police, they verify, hey, the mom work at this time, the sister school at this time, so
And the
there's,
umbrella wasn't found until the next month.
yeah,
It was over a
also,
month that umbrella was found. What condition was that umbrella in? Was it laying out for that
But
entire month?
well, the
Had
thing
it
is
been
that if he ran away from the school, if all the places that he was going to go
but
to, when they said that he went and checked in the past, he wasn't at. But a month later, they find the umbrella at the apartment complex. You would think the most logical thing to do would dragnet the apartment complex and start asking questions to the neighbors that are in there. From the
well,
right.
last, I would have walked to the office as a detective, and I would have asked if I couldn't get them to volunteer the information of your residents who's been here in the last 2 months that have not moved. I want all the residents that have been here for the last 10 months so I can systematically knock on the door or
Yep.
call them, and I can give them a soft interview. If it's sketchy, then I'll ask them to come down to the station. That way we can, you know what I mean? If they start
Right.
stuttering or whatever, I can bring down to the station. That way we can kind of put a little bit more pressure on them to get more information. But there's nothing being done
No.
whatsoever.
somebody saw something, and you know how many cases where kids are taken from right outside their homes, like especially, how many autism cases have been, how many children that have with autism have been taken in the last 2 weeks, like
Well,
I
and
think, huh,
that's
I
the
think it was
thing of it is a predator looks for those weak people. And
like,
if somebody in that apartment complex had seen him and knew that he was, you know,
well, they
On the
didn't have to
spectrum.
live there. They could have saw him walking. They could have followed him. I mean,
yeah,
how far did that camera see? Like, which way did they see him walking? And this is all stuff that we're gonna have to, find
Well, my,
out.
my whole thing is, if he went to the apartment complex and mom was at work, where are the cameras? Where are the ring cameras that are on the apartment complex doors? You know what I mean? Somebody
right.
has seen something, and all they would have to do is just go door to door and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
can we check your camera? Can on this date, can you look at your camera and see if this kid walked through here or whatever?" But so much time has gone by. I'm pretty sure those recordings are non-existent anymore.
I'm sure they're not.
Exactly.
And how much of that did they do? Because I think they were very lax in this investigation in the beginning because it
Once
had
again, it's
happened so
true.
many times. It's the little boy crying wolf.
Hmm.
Sad thing is that unfortunately he was on the spectrum and not old enough to understand the
Exactly.
concept. The concept.
Exactly.
They try to protect, just like Kyron's case, you guys. They try to protect their little town, their little
Mm-hmm.
county. We don't want our school. We don't want everybody to be afraid. So they're not gonna take it as serious as they should, unfortunately. So that's
Well,
why I
and they're not
really,
going to express that concern to anybody but themselves,
yeah.
because God forbid the public think there's an issue.
Hmm. That's why I wanted, this case. A lot of these cases are, I've never heard of this case. And the fact that it reminds me of Kyron's case, I'm like, we're on it. We're making this Facebook. We're about to, this is this is our other baby right here. So you guys,
And with that
there's going
being said, let's give a shout out to Arctic Fox once again for letting us go through his content and
Absolutely.
grab all of these cases to let us reamp our, revived passion for the crime niche and what we're doing as content creators, because he's got hit, like I said before, he's got his pulse on all these missing kids. And if somebody was able to partner up with him and categorize this into the spectrum of kids missing, the Amber Alerts, the Ebony Alerts, the Silver Fox Alerts, all, or the Silver Alerts or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. If we can map those all down and just off of his alone, because he hasn't even got all of them, but that would give us at least a ground-based mathematical synopsis of what groups are mostly in danger right now as far as kidnapping. And if I'm willing to bet my second channel as far as father's rights, that most of these are going to be children on the spectrum that are taking, because they, like you said, Coffee, predators look for easy prey.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if
Mm-hmm.
America is frustrated with mental health, especially for our youth, because you know how we are, America is so, oh, we're all about the children, but when the children are talking, we're like, shut the fuck up and listen. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
it's a double-edged sword when you're like, oh, it's all about the children, and it's not, because if it was about the children, we wouldn't be in the situation to begin with, because that school would have been set up for that special needs children with fences, truancy, cameras, the whole nine. And not only that, the police department, which we pay our tax dollars to, would be more amped to take care of their own citizens and the offspring of those citizens that are taxpayers that consort to their lifestyle and their incomes. So
Right.
these are all, I mean, if they're so worried about the reputation of their town and they want their residents to feel safe, do your fucking job. Point blank. You
Right.
want me to feel
Right.
safe being a tourist or visiting or anything like that? I don't want to go to a town where I have to worry about, how many predators are they letting get away, or how many officials in law enforcement may be predators themselves because they don't want to investigate.
Right.
Our,
I
our,
agree.
our friend, I never say, I was talking about, our profiler friend.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the group. He said Ryan was most likely taken into one of the apartments in the complex. I won't go into further details about what would have happened once inside. So he did a profile. He knows what's the famous guy, Coffee? John.
Cooper. DB Cooper.
And no. The famous profiler, the one with
Oh,
BT.
John Douglas.
So our friend, got BTK, his profile down pat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he did once for Kyron's case, and I don't know if you saw that or not, but
You're talking like a criminal behavior specialist, like for the FBI, where they do a profile on the predator?
He's an armchair profiler. He's
Gotcha.
not credited.
Well, either way, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter if you're credited or not. If you're paying attention, you're paying attention.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
right.
he got a letter from whatever
John Douglas.
Yeah, saying that he was.
That's what's up. Legit.
Yeah, so I want you to see Kyron's that he did. But anyways, yeah, you guys, all these flyers that Arctic are putting out, you guys can look over them. These are people that need to be brought out more. There's so many cases, so many that aren't talked about. Everybody's talking about, and it's okay. Sebastian Rogers, every child needs a platform, a voice. But if everybody just picked one, how many videos does he have? Like thousands? But
Right.
still, one or two a day, do a little whatever and then share them all. We could make a change.
Agreed.
Well, and that's what we're doing. We're going to try to do this, at least once or twice a week, and pick out some of these cases and spotlight them, see what's happened with them, where
Well,
they're at.
I know that the one that I told you I wanted to do with the girl that also once again
Yeah.
8 years old, 10 years old. The boyfriend, brown van. Oh my god. So we're gonna be doing a lot of those on Normans too. So yeah, it'll be a lot of stuff going on lately. I can't even think right now. I got to get off of here because this is on my mind. I got to call these people.
All right.
Gotcha. Yeah, I got a
I
million and one things I got to do too. I'm still in transition and moving also, so I got a bunch of shit I got to pack up. So
know, and I don't know how you do it because I'm over here like you're calm, cool, collective, and I'm freaking out, and mine's not even,
I just I've learned to make it just look really cool. You know what I mean? In my head, I'm just like, oh my god. But the key is just never let them see you sweat and don't panic. That's
hey,
that's what I live by. So,
I'm a nervous wreck, so
It's
you
a
know what?
black thing.
it's like that's how we stay. That's
My
how we stay so
husband's the
cool.
same
That's how
way.
our music. That's how our vibes and our music stay so cool. Is we just act like ain't nothing wrong. That way nobody feeds off negative energy. So we're just like, no, we're good.
Exactly.
Pass the blunt. Pass the blunt. We ain't no worries.
That's my husband's attitude.
No worries. It will work itself out. Believe me. There's time, and life is too short for me to stress. Let's just put
Yeah,
it that
his
way.
motto is, don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. So,
Well, I know I've spent a lot of time in the past worrying about shit, and then when the shit passes, you look back and you say, I could have occupied my time a lot better and got a lot done instead of just sitting here worrying about what I couldn't control. So
exactly.
I just learned at my age, it's kind of a repetition thing that you learn with wisdom that you just, no matter if you're about to be homeless, no matter if you lost your job or whatever, there's nothing you can do about it but just move forward, because the more you stress, the more time you waste. So I'm just like, I'm kind of like, I'm not a biblical person, but I kind of see the philosophy behind, turning the other cheek, because sometimes some battles and some stresses just aren't worth, some money just isn't worth chasing. You know what I mean? So it's just not worth
Yep.
the effort, especially now that I have health issues. It's like, do I really want to? If I don't know it and I only have a week left to live, do I
That's
really want this to be my last week, arguing about this?
that's the big thing though. Like with health issues lately, I'm like, okay, so everything going on, if I don't wake up and you guys know my situation, that could have helped you know what I'm saying? Like my kids I would have known are gonna be good. So mm,
Life is the way I see it, and not to sound kind of morbid or weird, but even with this morning, did you guys hear that O.J. Simpson died?
oh
Yeah.
yes, and I said something. Yeah, I said
So
something about
it kind of gave me pause to look back and think. I was like, what kind of person do I really want to be? You know what I mean? It ain't even about God or being, following, in Christianity and all that. It's like morally characterize, what kind of person do you really want to be? You know what I mean? When you die, what do you want to be remembered as? Do you want to be remembered as an OJ? Because I started looking at some of the stuff people are doing videos to commemorate him, and because of his passing, and everybody's looking back at the trial, and and how he was the first one to break the news, where the cycle was all about him, like for a week on end, where
Right.
late breaking news, how like now how the news is common with late breaking on the Trump shit. He was actually the first Donald Trump, that broke the news, where people were
Right.
not going to the news after dinner to find out, what the weather's going to be and what happened, in the States. Everybody was glued to the TV, like, what is he going to kill himself? Is he going to, is he going to kill somebody else? He
yeah.
was the first one to break the news. So yeah, I was watching his highlights and I was like, he meant something to different people. And when I watched the videos, it left a sour taste in my stomach when I was watching the football fans. They were like, OJ was one of the best. And I'm just like, tell that to Nicole Simpson and her boyfriend. You know what I mean? Tell that to the people he killed. Fuck his football career. He was a murderer. And then after
He
that,
wasn't a murderer.
he became a
Oh,
reactionary troll.
Norman.
Well, after that, he became a reactionary troll. I mean, all he did was he would come online and do like his little Twitters or X's or whatever, and all he would do is react to stuff like, "Oh, if you want to hear my take about Trump and da 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 da," and it's like nobody gives a fuck. You know what I mean? Nobody cares about you, dude. You know your time already passed.
I never saw him on the internet because I never paid it. And then I didn't even know anyone knew he died. But I did say like rest in peace or rest in hell. I mean, because still, God's the one that he's gonna judge him. He'll go to hell likely. But
I don't know what he did.
That's debatable too. I mean, I'm in my age and what's going on now with my dad. I've had a lot of questions about the whole shit show of religion and everybody trying to claim this, and even with my whole historical look backs on it, I'm like, if for anybody who is that religious, whether Christian, Muslim, atheist, whatever they claim they are, if you have to beat somebody's ass in order to them to convert to your religion, that is not a fucking religion.
No.
That is not religion. The Crusades and all that shit that Christians and Muslims and even the Jews are doing right now in Gaza. This has nothing to do with God. This has to do with politics, greed, and man. It has nothing to do with God. This whole religion aspect that I'm coming to grips with now is about civilization trying to govern and control itself. And if you can't feed your people, you scare your people into being good, because especially back in the day, we didn't have police and enough police and army and all that stuff. So you had to rely on your citizens to go out in the fields and cook and be rightful people. And what way to do that? By telling them, hey, there's somebody watching you, and it may be a God. Then you may hear about a different God in a different culture or a different city, but the God that rules this city is watching you, and he ordained me, and he ordained me. So trust what I'm telling you. And you've heard that generation after generation after generation, and we get so ingrained with thinking that magic and and all this spiritual magic and all this shit. And then when you get somebody that commits a crime and they like, God told me or the devil told me, and you're like, no, no, no. Well, how are you dismissing him then? But we're supposed to listen to your God and donate to your church. That's why I have a hard time with the whole religion and not being able to be tangible. And I understand about faith and belief and all that, but I watch Star Wars. I have belief. I have faith. I have belief. I have faith. Don't get me wrong, but I know that nobody is walking on water.
Hey! I gotta go.
I'll tap in with you. I know that's a whole nother show, but I'm just having a hard time with this whole God thing everybody's throwing around lately.
I'm gonna call you. I think y'all go subscribe, hit the like button, go subscribe to Norman Nick Show. I have an emergency, and we will come back in a few days.
Worries.
But all right, peace out.
Peace.